All right. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome to the SWAN India Alliance think tank. We're really excited for this. So just a little bit of background about who we are and what we do. So SWAN was founded in 2010 as a global community for smart solutions. SWAN is the leading global voice for the smart water sector. A membership-based nonprofit, we bring together water utilities, solutions providers, and proactive industry experts to advance the adoption of smart, data-driven solutions for drinking water, wastewater, and stormwater networks worldwide. Recently launched just earlier this year, we're thrilled to introduce Lighthouse, an AI search-enabled digital tool to enhance your productivity and make more sense out of smart water by sifting through all our SWAN resources. You can use this tool to search for relevant queries, such as what are some of your key strategic drivers behind AMI or similar. Try it out today and let us know what you think. Also, you're invited to join us for the 14th annual SWAN conference taking place May 20th to 22nd in Vancouver, Canada. Be part of the leading smart water event with utilities from all over the world, including India. We hope you can join us. Now join me in welcoming today's moderator, Frederick Royan. Fred is the current SWAN Council Chair and heads up the SWAN India Alliance. He has been analyzing the global water market for over 15 years and is the global leader and vice president of the Sustainability and Circular Economy practice at Frost & Sullivan. Frederick led the launch of the Smart Water Program in 2010 and has since focused on shaping the global water research program around digital transformation, and together with his team of analysts has published authoritative reports on smart water grid and related segments. He has a master's in environmental protection and management from the University of Edinburgh, secured as a Shell Centenary Chevening Scholar, and has also been conferred the Frost & Sullivan Fellowship. Thank you, Fred.
Thanks, Sandy, and welcome everyone for our very first webinar on the SWAN India Alliance. And a quick introduction on the SWAN India Alliance itself. It's one of the regional alliances we set up within the SWAN Forum. And it's about to bring together an ecosystem of different players, both our members from overseas as well as our members from India, and to see how we can share knowledge, partner with each other, and see how we can drive the advancement of smart water solutions in water utilities across India. There's a link there for people who would like to know more about the SWAN India Alliance. Just to kick off the webinar, I have a 6P framework that I usually refer to when I talk about sustainability and circular economy. And just wanted to share this in terms of how we see the 6P framework shaping the water transition in India. All of us have been witnessing some really, what should I say, shocking news, both in terms of the dire situation of water in some of the key cities. I think the future is going to be how we're going to deliver more with less, right? So this is why we've come up with the 6P framework. What is the 6P framework? Everything starts from policies. And the context of India, we've seen some really good policies such as the Jal Jeevan Mission and Amrit 2.0, as well as the announcement of the latest manual, which one of our speakers, Ashok Natarajan, would be talking about. And the aim is to see how we can address key efficiency-related issues on non-revenue water, and possibly also see how we can tackle the demand side management and reduce the per capita consumption from close to 150 to 82 liters per day. And these policies are influencing the design and development of some of the products. It could be smart water sensors, it could be meters, it could be how the treatment technologies are working, and how you can really improve the credentials, environmental credentials, both in the footprint and the handprint. And the third piece, processes. Globally, water utilities are trying to see how they get to net zero. So how we're looking at scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions and seeing how we're going to drive that down. But the fourth and the most important one, when you're looking at bringing about water transformation, is people and personas. Trying to understand the needs and this knowledge and expertise of people on the supply side, but also the awareness when it comes to the people on the demand side, and how you're going to drive productivity. The fifth one is partnerships. No one can do it alone. Companies need to come together, partner, collaborate, participate, contribute, and then benefit from a B2B opportunity, which is all about sustainability and the circular economy. And the sixth one is platforms. With most of these policies, especially when you're looking at smart, you're looking at how these policies are going to end up as a platform where you're measuring, monitoring, and reporting, and more importantly, also verifying this data. And going forward, this data is going to be influencing future policy as well. So it's going to be more of a data-driven approach to policy. On this note, I'll just move. We have a kind of a poll that Sandy has put out. So what do you see are the top growth opportunities for smart water in India? Is it smart leakage reduction? Is it smart water metering? Digital twins? Is it plant automation? Or is it smart water in the non-residential segment, which is like the commercial and the industrial segment? So you all can choose that, and we'll share the results towards the end of this webinar. So that's with the poll. Now, what's the format which we have? So we have a lineup of key speakers across the value chain, actually, from the policy side, from the utility side, as well as from the solution side. And then we'll have, following the presentations, questions. I have a few questions that I would like to ask the speakers, and feel free to drop in your questions in the Q&A box. So we'll have a look at some of the questions which come there, and depending on the time, we'll make sure we'll get your answers through the webinar or offline on the section. So welcome to the 4 speakers which we have. I'm really thankful for their time, and as you can see, some really esteemed speakers which we have here. We have Ashok Natarajan, who's the CEO of SteadyTaps, and Ashok is also the ex-CEO of TWIC, and he's pretty much, I would say, a subject matter expert when it comes to the water sector in India, and has been a key consultant as well for some of the World Bank projects, and currently is also doing work with the National Task Force. He's one of the appointed members of the National Task Force of the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, and is doing an interesting project for the World Bank on smart water metering for the city of Chennai. Thankfully, we also have speakers from the utilities. Great to have Nicholas Bokhoff. Nicholas is the Chief Operating Officer for Water Services of Suez in India. And you'll see Suez has a strong presence in India, around 11 cities. And one of the things which I really like of Nicholas, he's driving the digital initiatives of Suez in India, really supporting some of these smart water startups in India, and see how they can really scale up and partner with utilities, and how utilities can use their services. So Nicholas will be talking about that. Great to have Saurav Das Patnaik as well, the Managing Director for Swatch Environment. Swatch Environment was also one of the leading water utilities, private water utilities in India. One of their flagship projects is the Haldia Petrochemical Facility, but they also operate the Nangloy water services in Delhi. And Saurav is very passionate about smart water solutions. He's also the co-chair of the UK and India smart water kind of initiative. And it'll be great to hear how Saurav is driving the entire smart water solutions agenda in India. And lastly, we also have Amrita Kar, who's the strategic marketing and partnerships lead at Vasa Labs. Vasa Labs is really a pioneer when it comes to smart water solutions and what they're doing. And Amrita will be talking about some of the exciting pilot projects, or even projects that they've delivered across Karnataka, Andhra, and Tamil Nadu. So looking forward to that. And Amrita's presentation will also include a talk from Ms. Jayamala, who's the Deputy General Manager of the KUIDFC, who was one of the key utility customers of Vasa Labs. On that note, we'll move on to the next slide. I guess it's over to Ashok. Over to you, for the next 8 minutes to give your opening remarks on the current challenges and opportunities of smart water in India.
Thank you, Fred. I hope I'm audible.
Yeah.
Thank you for this opportunity to make SWAN India Forum a pride of place in India, because this is one of the few things that we have on the smart systems. Otherwise, everybody talks about most of the other subjects, but not the smart systems. So the topic that has been given to me is current challenges and opportunities of smart water in India. Can we go to the next slide, please? All of you are aware that I don't have to speak much on it. This is actually a UN's publication. 11 of our 30 large cities in India are facing extreme water risks. Uh, Luckily, the name of Bangalore doesn't appear here because I put it just like what they had published in 2018. But you can see it's most of the thing are in extreme high risk or high risk areas or medium risk, and only the northeastern part of the country is really having sufficient water really for the habitations. To really put it together is that one of the key things, the drivers for it would be actually doing the digital and the smart initiatives to really drive the point of monitoring and control. So that's why I put up this slide saying that the extreme water risk that India is having right now. Can I have the next slide? All of us are quite aware that Indian utilities are primarily monopolies which are being run primarily by the government, except for the few of them like what is done by Suez and long-term contracts or Watco in Orissa or Jesco in Jamshedpur. Most of the utilities are government-promoted organizations fully owned by the government. So there is lots of unique challenges in the utility sectors. If you really compare in terms of current operation, there's nothing called utility operations that exist in India, really like a developed or a developing countries. And really, the systems are quite weak. The operating cost recoveries are extremely low. Service levels are also low. Most of the country runs on intermittent water supply system, except a few, and there is very low commercial and staff efficiency. If you really see investment to serve the current population, and all of you are aware, India is growing. It's got 1.4 billion people, and the cities and the smallest towns and mid cities are all expanding in a big way. So the asset condition is largely unknown. And there's one big catch in this whole thing is non-revenue water loss is really unknown and often underestimated, except for a few handful of cities which actually know that parameters are estimated NRW. Mostly nobody knows about it, and it's roughly estimated to be about 50%. The capital expenditure to rehabilitate network is also large and unknown because the cities are growing. The periphery of the city grows or the center of the city grows. It's not clear. And generally poor hydraulic designs of the network. And, uh, and the assets have deteriorated over the years. So really to serve the investment for the future population is a very big challenge. And that's why this Amrut program has been framed by the government of India for our urban local bodies, or almost covers about 4,800 odd small and medium and large cities of India. Wherever the population growth is high but not very clear, where population will live is also not clear. And generally, in these type of investments of large cities in India, the capital expenditure planning is pretty weak, and the financial sources are uncertain. Except for some of them are multilaterally funded, some of them are funded through Amrut, which gives a small percentage of 20 to 30%. Most of the other ULBs are not having sustainability of investing some of the, especially on the O&M, especially from their own sources. And there is always a big divided responsibility from the city and the periphery. Almost all the cities in India have expanded the last 5 years in a big way. And so there is a divided responsibility between the city and the periphery itself. Can we go to the next slide, please? So Amrut has been launched 2 years back. Primarily, it's a $40 billion investment, and close to about 25,000 crores have already been invested so far. About 20 to 20 billion have been invested so far. I play a role here as one of the task force member and also the mentor and also an author of a couple of chapters in the new manual. So one of the key objectives is to actually bridge the estimated gap of 27 million urban households to provide them with house service connections and drinking potable water. And also, we have a large problem in the wastewater network, and also to only about 30% of our country is sewer actually in India. So to put the further 27 million sewer connections and septage connections in other 500 cities are one of the key goals of the things. One of the key things that this guideline has initiated is that they have allowed the deployment of latest technology. So that itself lends itself very well. And I think by using digital means and smart system, India will have an opportunity to really leapfrog in this particular sector from probably at level 1 or level 2 compared to the rest of the world, India could actually use the digital means and smart systems to really scale up the operations in terms of water supply and wastewater management system. So this gives access this to latest technologies in the field, and it's been mandated to almost all the people who are beneficiaries of the scheme to have 20% losses in the year 3 or 4 after completing the project life cycle. And also recycling is an immediate demand of almost meeting 20% of the city demand and 40% of the industrial demand. Regeneration of water bodies and very innovative structuring of financing have been done, where a very large, almost to the tune of about 4 to 5 billion US dollars is available for primarily for viability gap funding, which is very useful for doing any type of innovative project. It could be even a digital initiative, it could be a recycle initiative or a distribution initiative. And the government of India is willing, based on a report, it is willing to give viability gap funding so that the local body as well as the city itself can come up with the rest of the money and also raise money to the private capital. People like Suez and other people are working in this model in a couple of states. Circle is fostering circular economy and water balance and development of the coastlines. And 100 smart cities have been announced some time back, and these cities are being strengthened still further. All these commitments up to the Amrut 2, such a large infusion of 40 billion US dollar is being committed due to the India's commitment to SDG goals by 2030 of providing safe drinking water. Next slide, please. Uh, this is the one which is actually I've taken it from because I was part of the ministry dialogues. So CA is the capital deployed. This is actually the progress which is actually in India so far, and you can see the shelf of projects that have come out today. No more these are just huge civil related projects, but these are performance based contracts are encouraged, and also softer things that using digital twins, integrated management information system has all been given a lot of importance in the new initiative of Amrit 2. And especially the new guideline talks in detail about all these things. So the capital deployed is something like 8.3 billion, out of which 7 billion have been approved and some few other things are pending. But if you see the shelf of projects, you really see the big money is going towards water supply still, about 3,200 projects across the country at about 12 billion. Storage and septage is about 6.3, and it's not enough for India. And one good thing that has happened over the last few years is these NRW projects. These could be just one part of the entire NRW cycle. It could be just metering, it could be distribution related, it could be DMA setup, it could be pressure flow monitoring and digitization, SCADA, or any other means of IoT sensors that are dashboards that are being deployed, or a GIS, all gets clubbed under this NRW, which is about $6.5 billion has been actually been sanctioned. And then is the water body regeneration, as they call it, is much lower. So you can really see that there is a flavor of GIS, meters, SCADA. So that lends itself to a very good digital initiative. And smart water systems are there to stay in India. And I see that there is a fantastic opportunity in the future because these are already enunciated in the manual, and any city that comes in with a detailed project report would have to carry all these parameters. They have to cover up all these subjects, and these would find immediate support from the central ministry, especially the Amrut 2 funding, which is there. Next slide, please. So in the future scenario, it will be entirely a digital address, that whole thing. You can see how the circles are intersecting, and you can see that the smart technologies, SCADA, GIS, your rehabilitation, network optimization, your performance management, your customer information system, whether it's your treatment plant or a distribution system or your recycle plants or your tertiary water systems, all can be integrated using smart systems, and that is the need of the hour right now. Can we go to the next slide, please? The last slide. So this would be, in short, this would be the unified command control that India is, we are looking at it, and this has been enunciated in our manual, chapter 14. It is similar to the EPA manual of US. We have consulted people across the world for the last 3.5 years, and this actually, I was helped by L&T to do this integrated management information system. And you can see that right from your water sources, your quality monitoring to your servers in terms of NRW, energy management, demand operations to a centralized SCADA load, and as well as the HMI integration with all the field related activity, including simulation through digital twin is what is happening. And I'm very happy to note that after since we have launched this manual, at least 3 or 4 states, especially UP, is very, very bullish about it, as well as many parts of Maharashtra, where they are actually come out with these type of initiatives using smart system, especially digital twins. That's it, I think.
Yeah.
Next slide. So this is the focus of the thing. I don't have to repeat this, but more importance is given to IoT, AI, user interfaces, automatic control, and we have got a new concept called drink from tap, which is involving a lot of automation, a lot of smart system being in it. That's it.
Yeah.
Fred,
Perfect.
thank you.
Thanks so much, Ashok, for setting the stage with your insights and your opening remarks. I think we'll quickly pass it on now to Nicholas. Nicholas, over to you in terms of one of the leading private water utilities in India. Your thoughts on smart water in India, the challenges and opportunities, please.
Well, thank you, Frederick, for giving this opportunity. So let me start with the footprint of Suez. Next slide. So Suez is an international group with a 160 years history that is providing services and solutions, so infrastructure and digital, to water utility and solid waste management utilities. So in India, we have been active in the last 40 years, starting with entering the market via infrastructure, a lot of infrastructure, and more recently, we started being an operator to convert water supply from intermittent to 24/7 in 9 cities across India. And this we are doing by leveraging on digital solutions, which is a key differentiating factor and becomes more and more differentiating in future. So next slide is what are we talking about? So why smart water? So first, this is just to remind that digital and smart water is not an end in itself. It's a tool and trends which are unavoidable, of course, and need to be streamlined to improve the efficiency of the water utility and the service. So in terms of quantity, quality, continuity, and of course, all this in a sustainable manner at an affordable cost. So our digital solutions are aiming at increasing the efficiency of operations, and mainly for in smart metering activities, water operation activities, so water loss, etc., and asset management planning. So now coming to the challenges. So here I just would like to remind the ground reality, which is intermittent water supply. So worldwide, of course, but also in India, very few cities, as mentioned before, have access to 24/7 water supply. So our ground reality in India is intermittent water supply. So which means the challenges on the next slide, please. The challenges are many, in fact, because getting to intermittent water supply, it's the consequence of a lot of deficiencies in terms of organization, in terms of financing, and also physical efficiency of the assets. So to get out of this vicious circle, it requires a lot of course, the steps are known, but since the challenges are very numerous in terms of missing data, missing investment, a high level of fraud and water losses, and also a lack of understanding at all how a water utility should perform, what is the role of different stakeholders in the organization, etc. So getting out of this situation, it takes time. There is no one size fits all. And it requires a good operator discipline to address the challenges one by one and in a systematic way. So first of all, it's about data collection. Then it's about CapEx planning with a good prioritization of investments to ensure quick benefits. So it's useless to spend hundreds of crores during 5 years to disturb all the city and then get benefits only after 5 years of that's, I mean, that's possible, but that's not very efficient way to get out of this. So, and in the meantime, it is very important also to improve the level of service, even if it is still intermittent. It can be improved. So all this, in fact, is making a huge opportunity for an operator to leverage on digital solutions to boost the efficiency. So I mentioned lack of data. So data acquisition is key. And also AI can be used to compensate the lack of data. So data can be extrapolated from other utilities, for instance. Then CapEx planning is a tricky affair. It's not easy. It's about hydraulic modeling, and there are thousands of options that can be considered. So which one is the best one? So here also a huge opportunity for digital tools, event detection, so especially for leak detection or even prevention. Then advanced analytics for efficiency improvement. Of course, all the topic related to revenue management, so including smart metering and impacting also the behavior of the water consumers to reduce overconsumption, to have a more responsible be a more responsible consumer. So all those opportunities are there, and they can be leveraged, but there is a but. It's all a matter of timing. So because smart solutions, digital solutions are not able to compensate the field activities, for instance, or the operator activities. So everything has to be deployed at the right time when the level of the operations is mature enough. The tools have to be well designed in a way to be integrated to ultimately have this IMIS scheme, or this ICCC control and command center. And of course, it's a continuous improvement mindset. So it's not done one time and then finished. It's data has to be fed continuously. And only if all those conditions are met, then efficiencies can be drawn out of the system and the tools. So as Frédéric mentioned, in India, we also have a big opportunity to partner with startups, because we see that digital is an entry to a gate to the market, because of course expectation from digital is high, but very quickly the utilities also realize that digital cannot do everything, and digital has to be combined with the field services and with the good operator service. So we see this as a big opportunity to partner with digital players and to enhance our own portfolio of solutions, of course, to be more efficient and to be able to improve the level of service overall in Indian water utilities.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Nicholas. And it's great to see that SUEZ giving the opportunity for startups. Already you are doing with Smartera and Coimbatore, and looking forward to see how you support more of these startups and drive the agenda of digital in India. Over to our next speaker, Saurav Daspatnaik, the Managing Director of Swatch Environment. Swatch is also one of the leading private water utilities. Saurav, over to you for your opening remarks.
Yeah, thank you, Frederick. Thank you, everybody, for giving us the opportunity to do some kind of brainstorming and ideation to come to common minimum in program across all the members of SWAN. I think that's something which we will need to go forward and work together to build an understanding, a common minimum program among the users, among the policymakers, and among the utilities and the startups as well. I think which earlier Ashok Natarajan and Mr. Nicholas also mentioned. Coming back to Swatch and its functions, basically we operate as a water utility across the urban and increasingly in the rural space. Some of our discussions have been focused towards the urban space, but I think there's a huge opportunity in the Indian diaspora across the country. As we know that Indian water scene is a state subject, it's a concurrent subject as far as river is concerned, but on the delivery to the people is concerned, the states play a vital role, and the entire government of India's programs which are going to be delivered is going to be delivered to the states and the urban local bodies. Then I think that's something important we need to look at it. In the rural space, if you look at it, most of our rural schemes, which has been coming as something called the JJM, Jal Jeevan Mission, which is called Water Life Mission, is something which is a combination of either borewell based or underground water based rural and multi-village schemes or single village schemes, or is it also a multi-village scheme with water and surface water treatment schemes? Different states have evolved in different schemes, or a combination of water supply from the surface water, which is the conventional treatment plants, and a combination of the underground borewell based supply systems. This is the far reaching out to every rural household. That's the scheme which is now evolved. One of the largest schemes ever from independent India that has evolved now. A huge impact, social impact, and health and family welfare impact is going to come in. The next slide, I will like to highlight here and pause out here. If you know in the back, if you go back in the slide earlier slide, you will see the current scheme of the Jal Jeevan Mission is focusing on the area till the individual households, but the owners of managing the individual household and thereafter the entire data management of it and the facility management of it to see the efficiency is driven, what kind of parameters are being driven across in the different villages, blocks, divisions, and then the entire district level schemes are being integrated. I think this is something which is a great opportunity for smart water to come in. Right from the village level, say a sensor at the user end and sensor at the pump at the source end, and thereafter managing the intermittent supply which is coming in. This is going to be intermittent supply, is not yet designed for 24/7. But then at the district level, if you need to integrate, you will have millions and millions of households being tapped under an umbrella of IoT-based device and a cloud. And then with the telecoms network in India, which is going to be very strengthened going forward for the rural sector, IoT is going to be playing a very vital role in actually mapping the service delivery mechanism in individual households. And that's the great opportunity for startups who are working in small villages, small towns in India, and to deliver those schemes, giving solutions, even doing O&M, which is going to come in, because operation maintenance of such networks on ground. If there's a pipe leakage, how will you change the pipe? If there's a pump outage, how will you change the pump? If there is a problem of the sensor which is not working, how will you do that? Somebody at the grassroots will have to do that change. And that's the beauty of this India, where we will have to build millions of water warriors, water workers will actually deliver on village. And that will create employment for in individual villages as well. I think that's the scheme which is going to be very, very vital for India. Going forward to the next slide, if I were to look at it, As a water utility, some of us have already discussed about it, so I will not delve much about the quality and the quantity monitoring solutions. But at the end of the day, from a utility perspective, which is working with different levels of existing infrastructure, legacy infrastructure, which is more than 50 years old, to new infrastructure, which has been built very recently. There is a whole band of technologies, whole band of infrastructure issues, whole band of capability and capacity building issues, which is coming in as a legacy issue when we work with utilities at the municipality level or the state board level, state water board level. There is a significant, and each state in India is so varied that we will have to also look at the localization of the global delivery system. If we have global technologies coming in, but how do we ensure we implement them on local basis? That's something which is the biggest dotted lines we have to maintain. As a utility, we are technology agnostic. We have to be technology agnostic. We have to work with the people out here on the ground. We have to work with the policymakers. We have to have champions in social change behavior. Mr. Ashok Natarajan mentioned very clearly, social change, behavioral change, very important. But we as water utility will have to drive that. If there is no water coming in certain areas, whether it's in Delhi, urban Delhi, or it's a city of Bengaluru, or any other city, or any other rural area, we have to answer. We are the face of the government because we have to deliver those entire schemes. Okay, so if we move to the next slide here, if you can do, I think the major areas of concern, what Mr. Natarajan and our earlier speakers have also mentioned, even Nicholas mentioned, high levels of revenue loss, aging water infrastructure, 50 years as mentioned, insufficient infrastructure funding, lack of data is absolutely very, very important. Digital intervention, urban supply, rural supply, asset mapping. Virtually today, if you look at it, if you were to look at the asset which has been created over the last 75 years in India, and if you add a capex value of the assets, even after written down value, you will see more than 10 to 20 billion dollars of assets invested in these urban and rural infrastructure. How are we giving a return on investments? If government has a balance sheet, we will have to need to know the return on investments, return on investments in the social side, on the health side, and even in the asset side. Are we sweating the assets? Are we efficiently utilizing the assets? You mentioned very well, doing more with less. Are we doing it, or is it still grandiose plans? Something which we'll have to be very, very vigilant about. Digital intervention across water resources will have to be integrated between dams, reservoirs, culverts, channels, small ponds, and integrating this flood forecasting runoff water which is coming in. Something which is very vital because we talk about water source sustainability. If water source sustainability is only going to be depending on the groundwater supply in the rural schemes, it may not work after a few years. We'll have to create alternate sources of source sustainability. How do we go about it? A way forward for us is intellect with challenges, need to collaborate, as I mentioned, transfer the learnings of each areas. And I think this is verticalization, states not talking to each other. The best practice is not getting percolated down at the ULB level, the city level, at the town level, at the village level, something which is very required. Baseline monitoring data, assets, performance, analytics of data, significant investments which is happening in terms of the technology interventions need to culminate, need to translate into return on investments. We have still not seen that kind of onus on that, and developing partnerships. The next slide, please. We will move on though, because time is an essence out here. We will move to the next slide, please. And because Ashok has covered it, just two case studies in the urban sector. Nangloi Water Services is in Delhi, is about 1/12 or 1/13 of Delhi is being served in terms of the area. And it's a PPP, one of the largest public-private partnerships who are in association with the Delhi Jal Board. And it covers 7 assembly constituencies, around 1.3 million people. And this is a 15-year concession. Now, out here, if you see, this is an old asset which has been taken on a public-private partnership where we as a water utility have to invest significant of money. And there's a matching grant coming in from the government. And thereafter, there are a certain set of KPIs which will have to be built apart from the capex in a span and also the entire delivery. So this is something which has been experimental in India. The report card is mixed. But increasingly, if you look at it, private-public partnership, if it has to manage such large asset, even investments, because up till now, you see the most of the investments are government-driven investments. The government is borrowing as well to deliver these kind of capex. But then, if the capex need not be only invested through a design, build, operate, but through also a combination of equity and debt from the private sector as well. So if you see the key performance indices out here in Nangloe, we have improved service delivery to a large number of houses, which we acquired from initially from 81,000 to almost 280,000 house service connection. If you look at it on the multiplier of 4, you will actually see about 1.2 million being covered. Volume of billing has gone up. The same water which is available as a non-revenue water in the system has actually gone up significantly. Water losses have been reduced. Length of network has been increased. And now it's almost 2,500 kilometers of new network has been set up. Old networks have been replaced, which have been leaking pipes. Operation rate has been, even the billing, the power consumption. Now there is a huge efficiency in the power side. If you look at it, power costs about 35% of the total delivery of your water cost at your house. So if I were to have a $1 price, unit price per KL to your house, it will be almost 35% of that will be power cost. So that's something which we'll have to look at it. There's another contrasting story of Haldia, which is on the east coast of city, along with the government of Urban Development and Municipal Affairs in the city of Haldia in east coast in West Bengal. This is a combination of again 15-year PPP project with a combination of industry and municipal water supply. And again, the report card is success out here because there's been old asset, 50 years old asset from the Public Health Engineering Department. Significant reduction of non-revenue water using the same aspects of very little change in the people. The people were the same. We changed in the mindset. We, of course, improved significant investments in the existing infrastructure, pipeline management and leak detection technology. We have, in fact, incorporated FIDO technology from UK as a partnership of the India-UK technology. In fact, is working significantly well. Even in Delhi also, we have deployed FIDO as well as this, the acoustic sound-based technology, but we are also developing the AI software going forward. So the Indian story is mixed as of now. This is the starting of a revolution in India for water. What we happened to in India about 25 years back in the power sector, in the gas sector is going to happen in the water sector. One important point which we are talking about as SWAN, should be definitely creating a small unified team of utilities, which covers gas, it covers the power, it covers the water. We should create that integrated command center and the common minimum program to work with a minimum set of common criteria like the right of way. How do you develop a right of way? Common utility corridor is something which we need to work together, and I think huge opportunity for startups to work together.
Yeah, thanks so much, Saurav. And good to note, conclude on those key metrics, some amazing metrics that you've shared and achieved, both at Nangloe and Haldia. So thanks so much for that.
Thank you so much.
Saurav.
Thank you again.
Yeah. Switching over to, we've heard from the policy side, we've heard from utilities, from Suez and Swatch Environment, now from the solution providers, and an exciting startup here, Vasa Labs, and what they're doing with some of these utilities like KUIDFC. So Amrita, my request is if you can kind of keep it to 8 minutes so that we have a few minutes for the questions, that'll be great. Over to you, Amrita.
I will just go ahead and show the practicality of digital transformation that some of the states have actually adapted.
Sure.
First of all, thank you, SWAN, for inviting Vasa Labs and KUIDFC to showcase what we are doing for the water sector. Just a quick introduction about Vasa Labs. We are a MIT-founded technology company. We are building solutions using emerging technologies since the last 10 years. For the primary sector, which is water, power, agriculture, smart city. And our broader goal has always been to tackle climate change, along with abide by the sustainable development goals, along with, keeping government of India and the state governments as a key stakeholders of our business model. So next slide, please. Yeah, so if we look at the water problems, I'll just quickly brush through because great insights from all the other speakers. So India, if you see, we have fragmented systems, which is data. So bringing them into a unified platforms, getting that accessibility, user-wise accessibility. And the most important part over here is, like, you cannot manage what you cannot see. So that is what led Vasa Labs back in 2014 to develop this platform, which we called AquaWise, to bring in that real-time monitoring of water resources and taking the key opportunity, Amir, next slide, please. Yeah, so you can just enter. Yeah, so the key opportunity which we are seeing here is digital transformation, which we started back, as we were building our solution. So what we are doing is we are creating, can you move back, Amir? Yeah, so what we are doing is we are creating the digital twin for bulk water management. This is covering not only a small water body at any village scale level, but we are taking this to reservoir, dams, utility, asset management. And this platform, it covers small modules like water accounting, sectoral water demands. And as other speakers were also talking about it, like, it's not about revolution, it's more about adapting the innovation and co-innovating with companies like us. So moving to the next slide. So I would so this is one of the project which we have done with KUIDFC, and I have madam over here. She has been pioneering this project. Jemala madam, can you just please unmute yourself and explain? She has been pioneering this. She, under her leadership, we have done this for the state of Karnataka. Ma'am, please introduce.
Hi, Amrita. Hello, Frederick. Thank you for this opportunity. Myself, Jaimala. I clear my economics master's in Bangalore University. I'm a KMAS officer, Karnataka Municipal Administrative Service Officer. I started my career in urban local body only. Now I am working as a Deputy General Manager in Karnataka Urban Infrastructure Development and Finance Corporation, Bangalore. It works under Urban Development Department, Government of Karnataka. The KUDFC is an organization to facilitate the urban local bodies through the externally aided funding like World Bank, Asian Development Bank, etc. And we are implementing so many other projects in many urban local bodies in Karnataka through the World Bank and ADB assistance. And we are not only investing the capital infrastructure, as earlier all the three the key speakers told about the how much along with capital investment, how much is the reforms also very much important. Likewise, we are implementing reforms also in the urban local bodies to strengthen the urban local body and self-sustainability. And we are implementing Karnataka Integrated Urban Water Management and Investment Program that is mainly focusing on 24/7 water supply and urban development, underground drainage system in 8 towns of Karnataka. So under that project, we are implementing IT reforms also. That is the one of the major reforms what we are implementing in these 8 towns. And Vasa Labs is the partner in the implementing IT reforms in these 8 towns. So these IT reforms consist of the 4 IT modules. IT modules, one is basically collection and billing efficiency, that is consumer management system, and IT2 is the ring-fenced accounting system. So not only has the Mr. Saurav told that even returning of that whatever the asset created, that is also very much important. So we are focusing on that also. And even asset management, that is also very, very important for the administrative, that GIS based MIS reports. So how they can use it for further future enhancement or getting revenue or getting resolved the grievances. So all these IT modules we are implementing in these 8 towns. So consumer asset management, that is IT1 module, that is a very, very important module, so that the billing can be done 100% and even administrator can view that whether 100% billing has been done by the operator, like that. And even collection also, we are offline collection. We have a established customer service center through operator, and even online payment facility also been given to all the consumers, they can pay over online also. And even grievances also, they can download the mobile application we have developed along with Wasser Labs, and they can enter their grievances, and it will be geo-tagged also. So automatically one can direct that what is the priority grievances, and they can immediately attend to those grievances. That is the IT1 module, and many new connection, reconnection, they can in one click they can apply for new connection. And even online workflow has also been developed, so that online only it can be approved by the administrator also. So no need to get paper, and they have to go around the offices and get into that. And
Right.
even IT3 module, that GIS based MIS reports, they can get all types of reports, so that administrative can sit one place and you can view what is their position, what is the revenue collection, or where they are lagging, what is the deficiencies, like that they can go to that. Even asset management. So
Yeah.
asset management is very, very important. That is predictive maintenance, breakdown maintenance, quantitative assessment of losses, NRW. All the key speakers told about NRW, how much it is important. That
Yeah.
also we can assess, and water quality, water audit, even SCADA integration also there in this IT system. So
Yeah.
all these integrated water facility we are doing in these 8 towns, it is a very unique thing what we are doing. So our Amrita, as she is explaining all these IT modules, she will demonstrate how it is working. So thank you, SWAN, once again for this opportunity. And I'll like to hand over to Ms. Amrita Kaur to further insights on the
Yeah.
city water
Yes.
management solution. Thank you.
Yes. So yeah, as you can see on the screen, this is like, as ma'am was also explaining, we are covering the entire cycle of water with
Excellent.
the urban water, which we are doing for KUIDFC.
Yeah.
She said everything. I don't have to. I mean, it was
Perfect.
very precise and very nice the way she told.
Yep.
So yeah, we have been building this digital water management platforms since a decade now, and I guess if you see India as a country, we have always been very adaptive towards technology, and that is why today's states have such first of its kind
Absolutely.
digital water management platforms. And of course our focus has always been towards sustainability and uniting the world for water. And talking about Vasa Labs, we have been at a global scale, and
Yep.
not about starting for a city scale. We are doing it at state, country, and recently we have done it for states like US also, which we are
Absolutely.
doing by the
Yeah.
Department of Energy. The Aquawise platform was appraised a
Yep.
lot.
Perfect.
So we are looking forward to partnerships, any
Yep.
kind of talk. You can reach out to me. This is my email ID.
Yep.
So yeah, Fred, over to you.
Thanks so much, Amrita. So let's get the speakers back on, because I just want I've seen some really interesting questions from the audience, and thanks Ashok and the other panelists to answer that. So that's great. Great to see the interaction, and thanks for Miss Jayamala as well for coming on and sharing the KUIDFC example. Yeah, so wanted to share this. This is the poll which has come out. So the results, so really exciting to see smart water metering really ahead. So I have a couple of questions on that. I'll ask that. But digital twins, yesterday I was speaking to a person in the US, and when I was telling him about digital twins in India, he was amazed. And what I'm going to see, I think India is going to leapfrog. Even Sauras just put a comment, right? India is going to leapfrog. It's going to be digital born. Even Grundfos calls its pumps like digital first, right? So the first solution in India is going to be digital. So that's great. I have just a few questions now to ask before we wrap up. So we have 4 minutes, so we'll keep it short. So the first question is on to Ashok. Ashok, on the policy side, right, especially the manual. In a couple of minutes, can you tell us how do you see the manual really kind of influencing the direction and the momentum of smart water solutions in India?
Very much. Thank you, Fred. See, the manual consists of three large chapters. Three sections called A, B, and C, which talks of first part talks about the engineering part of it, which includes the IoT, the different communication technologies, going to minute details. And we have not done it theoretically, we have talked to every single major company, including Suez, L&T, to understand what they are doing at the ground level and to incorporate such things in the Indian context. There are two major chapters on automation as well as use of IoT as well as digital twins on it, which lends itself into a very, very good option for converting to digital initiatives. And that is why what I'm saying that is that there is a very big opportunity here, because every state could come in, make a DPR through a consultant and come and take the finances that are available today and implement them. Secondly, we also talked a lot about O&M, performance-based O&M into the whole structure, which is a B part, and the C part is the management part, including financing, municipal bonds and stuff like that, including climate resilience and capacity building. And the government of India has spent a lot of money. People like ASCII, ICCW, I see Mr. Nandakumar here. They've all been nominated by Amrut today to really do this capacity building across the country. So once people are attuned to technologies and understanding of this, there could be a big opportunity to scale it up. And mind you, India will become another powerhouse similar to what happened in the transformation in the telecom and in the electricity sector. I was part of the electricity sector. So if India wakes up on the water side, it will be very huge.
Absolutely. I mean, we can see India become the largest smart water grid in the world. I keep saying that. Moving on to the next question I have is to Nicholas. Nicholas, you're very bullish about the manual and how that's going to shape. So as a utility, how do you see the manual then facilitating your utility and driving smart water solutions for your utilities?
Yeah, so I think the manual is a very good tool to give the confidence to the utilities to go for smart water. So of course, it's about working towards an objective of efficiency, etc. So the tools have to be adapted to the objective. But having an overview of possible tools and solutions in the manual will for sure give the confidence and will help utilities implement this and make the right decisions. So I overall, I see this as a very, very good move for smart water. Yeah.
Perfect. And I guess sort of any thoughts on the manual and how you see the manual even influencing some of your projects going forward?
Well, I think the manual is, as a standard document, can be a starting point. But what I see, the manual can be actually could be a starting point to deliver the standards for the utilities at the rural and urban areas. It's mostly urban areas. The need for the manual to be utilized by the grassroots workers in the municipal segment who are actually doing the work and even driving the tender conditions is something important, because there's a gap between the current scenario and what we want to be. That gap probably the manual would be able to bridge.
Perfect. Thank you. And I know we're running out of time. Just one last question. I want to put it to Amrita and Ms. Jayamala from KUID FC, right? How do you see the kind of scaling of the project? You are doing it for 8 towns there in Karnataka, right? Is it something which is going to be scaled further in the state of Karnataka?
Yes, definitely we want to scale it up with many towns also, 24/7. We are expecting that is under Amrut 2 also, we are covering so many cities 24/7 only. These 8 towns also we are covering in the entire city, not only some part of the city like that. We are covering entire city 24/7. Even Hubli Dharwad, that is World Bank assisted, Hubli Dharwad and Gulbarga, that is also L&T is doing. There also we are covering entire city. So we are planning to get it so many other cities also to convert into 24/7. Even underground drainage also very much priority we are given. So we are doing that also.
Great to hear that, and great to hear the use cases, that something practical on the ground where digital solutions are being utilized, applied, and seeing a transformation in the water sector. Thank you, Ms. Jayamala. At that note, I know we are on the hour as we speak. So thank you so much for all our speakers, for Ashok Natarajan, Nicholas Bokov from Suez, Saurav Daspatnaik from Swatch Environment, Amrita Kar from Vasa Labs, and Ms. Jayamala from KUIDFC. And thanks to everyone who've joined in live to listen and for your questions. Thanks to the speakers to answering that, and to the SWAN Forum, Amir and Sandy as well. So as Amir always says, we are all excited about the SWAN India Alliance, and this is our first one, and great to see the participation and looking forward to the future ones. Thanks, everyone, and have a good rest of the day.
Thank you, Fred.